Hello and welcome. I am Scarperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the Rebirth server. We are with Quintessence last. We're now level 41 brute with 10 million experience earned and about 2 million experience to go to get to level 42 in our next 3 slots, 30 million almost influence. And we're on a story arc for Indigo. I think we're getting close to the end of it. This is the missing Melvin and the mysterious Malta group. So we're finding out more about the Malta, and she says, Crimson really sets me off sometimes now that we have a list of possible sites where our friends could be keeping Melvin Langley. He tells me about a government computer research lab that our friends have taken over and have been utilizing to illegally move information and money around. He's known about this place for months, and only now does he even mention this to me, and this makes me mad. The important thing, though, is that the information stored there could be the key to figuring out which of the detention facilities you located Melvin is being held in. Tell me when you're ready, and I'll give you a copy of where the computer lab is. So we know we're ready. We're going to go to Founders Falls, and we're going to see if we can find the location of the lab in the lab. Right, or find the location of the base in another base. So last episode, right at the end, we got our focused accuracy, and so we can turn that on when we get into mist streaks. It has one endurance and reduction enhancer on it. It's going to need more. I'm not sure when I'm going to get to that. My hope is sooner rather than later, but I really want to get our heal fully slotted with 6 slots, because I think that's important so that when we heal up, we get the maximum amount of possible healing. Not that we need a lot of healing in general. We're still on +2 times 1 because of the occasional presence of Knives of Artemis and my unwillingness to fight them at ×2 or ×3 just because of all the caltrops and how annoying those are. This makes the Malta a little bit too easy, unfortunately. But since I can't always tell before we take the mission whether we're going to face Malta, Knives, or both, I sort of have no choice but to kind of leave it the way it is. Once the focus, so this argues for doing it faster. Once the focus accuracy is all set, and we need to try and get some endurance from this guy, and then kick his butt. Oh, that's just great. I didn't trigger Dark Consumption. That's the second time, well, more like the 20th time I clicked a button and nothing happened. I don't know why it's doing that to me. Alright, we got some endurance back. Yeah, I clicked Dark Consumption. I mean, I know I hit Soul Drain first by accident, which was stupid. But I then clicked Dark Consumption, and it didn't go off. So I'm not sure what's going on. That's happened to me several times. Oh, and this is a boss, not a lieutenant. So that was my mistake. I didn't realize that. I saw this Titan here, and I thought it was a lieutenant. The big guys are really cool, but I really kind of hate fighting them because you can't easily see their health bars and stuff. I have to keep looking up here instead of looking in the center of the screen, which I'd rather do. As cool as they are, I find it frustrating to fight them close up in a tight space like this. This is one of the reasons why I took us off ×2 and 3 with the Devouring Earth, because there were so many of them and they would surround me and then I couldn't see what I was doing as a player, you know. My character should have been able to see, but as a player, I couldn't. And that was a bit frustrating. These guys aren't quite as big and therefore aren't quite as bad. These guys are okay. You can see their health bar there and it's no problem. Alright, so as I was saying, one of the things that may argue for getting the focused accuracy earlier is that it will allow us to go up to +3, and then we don't have to worry about being on ×1 or ×2, because +3 will be enough. So maybe I should hit up that focused accuracy first. And then come back around at level 43 to get the heal. which means we're not going to get 6-slotting Siphon Life until level 45, which just seems so late, given how long we've had that power. I hear a glowy. We are doing so much great damage now, though. And there's the glowy. First clue. A report on metahuman assets. We found this report on the computer in the Malta group. And so this is a report about the Malta group controlling superhumans, right? They want to use superheroes as weapons. And it was also partly done by the governments. And I say governments plural. I don't think it was just the US. I think the governments of the allies of NATO were talking about finding ways to control superheroes. And Melvin Langley, I think, either knows or was one of the people of the original meeting in Malta in the 70s? On the island of Malta. But I'm not entirely sure if he was there or he just kind of witnessed it. Alright, so I'm going to turn on focused accuracy here. Get a little bit of luck. Gonna go in here and Soul Drain. Frighten the Sapper. And then pound him as much as we can. And our endurance is up to full, and now we are going to smack you, Zeus class Titan. These things are cool looking, I will say. So our endurance is holding up all right with the focused accuracy on. Notice our accuracy is now 1.36 with it on. That's the base before we add any of our enhancements from our powers. This is the set bonuses and the focused accuracy bonus. And we got him. Man, those guys are worth a lot of XP. 17,000. Each one of them is like almost 1% of a level. And look at all the influence we get. That's weird. I thought you got more influence than experience for bosses. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I could have sworn you did. Okay, I think we're ready to go up to the next level. We need it to try to find a clue about Melvin's location. We haven't found that yet. We found a different clue. And I hear a glowy. And there is another boss. And a lieutenant. Okay, we're going to need a taunt here. And we'll just pull these guys out. Because I don't want to fight everybody in that room. Well, we got a bunch of them anyway. Now let's get out of the flame. This guy is a lieutenant. We'll try to knock him down. Man, this boss is pounding me. Guess we need some luck. I'm gonna ignore the auto turret because it's irrelevant. It doesn't do anything to you, really. It's just an annoyance. And it ran away. think it's time to turn focus accuracy back on, because I'm missing too much. This is a +3 boss, so he's a bit rough. But we're doing alright, and our Fury is way up there, so we're doing almost 200% damage bonus. Why can I not hit with Shadow Maul? That's so annoying. Did I miss again? No, I hit that time. Where'd the auto turret go? Oh, he's right over here. He's irrelevant. You can see he's not doing anything to me. Yep, again with Shadow Maul. Why am I missing with that one? Well, I guess I'm missing with everything. He is +3. Oh, come on, die already, you stupid auto turret. So did we get anything? Not really. It wasn't a clue. Okay. I do like doing that soul drain. Usually it manages to interrupt them. Not this time. Double miss. Finally. They take forever to take out, but they're completely irrelevant as players on the battlefield. Because they don't really do any damage compared to, like, everything else. Okay, we've finally taken this whole level out. Wow, what a level. Let's move on to level 2. Don't know where the next clue will be, so we'll just have to find it. I really can't believe this character's in the 40s already. I feel like it's gone by very quickly. I think because I've been enjoying it so much. I still like the Scrapper the best, but the Brute is a very close second. I'm really enjoying it. I think I like it better than a Stalker. Alright, we're going to need some more luck for this. And we're going to come in here and Soul Drain. I think we're going to ignore the minion and just go after the boss, because the boss is the most dangerous, and we want to try and see if we can lower his 2-hit. Let me go ahead and put on focused accuracy. Should hit this guy a little bit better than the other one, because he's +2 instead of +3. And we have 2 ways to regain endurance, so if the focused accuracy starts like hammering our endurance like it's doing, we can just go ahead and consume, and our endurance goes right back up, which is quite nice. Again, I clicked on Shadow Maul and it didn't go off. I don't know what's going on with that. It's like it doesn't realize I'm clicking. I hear another glowy. And there it is. Got another clue. Controlled heroes. So this is about the multi-group activities and methods of persuasion, bribery, etc. that they used on superheroes. Another boss. Now let's, I guess, taunt it and pull it back. We're going to take a hit. They always get one shot at you. But I just want to pull it back so that, because I don't know what else is up there. So Let's get in Soul Drain. Keep our focused accuracy up. And just pound this guy. He's also +2, so again, we should be alright. Pull up some more endurance. You can see how completely irrelevant it is that we drained their endurance. They can still attack us. They have no trouble with endurance. So the actual drain is irrelevant. What we just want is to get some for ourselves, right? It doesn't matter to us whether we drain them or not, because it doesn't matter. They don't really use endurance. They really don't. They always have plenty of endurance. The NPCs. There is another elevator, but we have more of this level to explore, so we will do that first. So as we go, on the D&D Beyond forum, the same GM who, if you go back a number of episodes, you heard me talk about with a party that they got to a pirate town, and the GM was all excited because he had worked really hard on this pirate town, and he thought it was pretty cool, and he was hoping that the players would enjoy it, and when they got to the town to repair their ship, the warlock, I guess, convinced the rest of the characters that the town was too dangerous, and they all just hid in the inn and didn't go anywhere until their ship was repaired, and then they left. And so all the cool NPCs and the cool shops and the cool challenges and encounters that the GM had prepared, none of them happened because this player convinced everybody else to stay in the room and hide. And that led to a lot of conversation about whether players have an obligation to participate in the adventure the DM has prepared for them. And I'm not going to rehash that in the context of the pirate encounter. But one of the things I did say to this game master, and I think I've been vindicated since, is that you need to have a conversation with your players. Because if, as a game master, what you're trying to set up is an epic storyline where they're going to be the heroes that save the world, and they're a bunch of cowards who want to hide under the bed when the world is threatened, you're going to have a problem. And so you need to have a conversation with them about how you expect their characters to be heroic and not hide under the bed. Not say, let the town guard do it, we'll stay home. I would say, look, as a DM, I can easily have the town guard do it, and I'm just playing by myself, right? I'm soloing the game. I'm playing the town guard, I'm playing the orcs that are attacking the town, and there's no point to you guys even being here. So if you want there to be a point to you being here, you need to be the ones to take action. So I told him, look, if I'm the GM, I'm going to stop the game at this point, and we're going to have a conversation about how I expect them to be heroic. And if they don't want to play heroic characters, they need to find another game master. This isn't like being a mean person or being threatening. It's a simple fact that I like to play games in which, as the game master, I'm playing the villain, and the players are playing the good guys, and therefore I want the players to win, because why would I want the bad guys to win? Like if I'm playing the Nazis, I don't want the Nazis to win, right? But I love running a game where I'm running the Nazis, because I want to give the players all kinds of opportunities to defeat Nazis. It's super great. It's fun. And as a player, I love playing in games like that. That's what I want to GM. That's what I like to GM. And I'm not down for ambiguous role-playing, for role-playing where it's not clear if the players are the good guys or the bad guys. If you want to play that way, find another GM. There are other GMs who'll be happy to play that way, but not me. And so I told them, look, you may need to have a conversation with your players about the fact that when you make up an adventure, you expect them to go on it. And if they're going to repeatedly not go on the adventures you set up, for me at least, I would say to them, okay, who else wants a DM? Because I'm done. Right? If you guys don't want to, if they, as players, you all know that I have this riddle set up where they're supposed to find, clues in a bunch of different temples about the secret, mysterious past of the gods in the Roman Empire. If the players are like, we don't care, we're not going to dig this up, I would already have said, look, okay, who else wants a GM? Because that's what this campaign is about, right? And if you don't want to do this, then that means you don't want to play in my campaign, so somebody else needs to run the game, right? I'm not being a prima donna or throwing a tantrum. It's just the simple reality that this is what I signed up to do. And if we're not going to do it, then somebody else needs to run the game. So I told him to have a conversation, and I think he did. But since then, they've gone somewhere else, and they're now in this town that's being threatened by undead. There's a bunch of zombies are attacking the town. And the player's reaction to this was to hide in the inn and cast a spell called Leoman's Tiny Hut, which creates this invisible little, basically like an igloo, a little dome, that's just big enough for a small party of adventurers. And only the caster and those he allows in can get into it. You can't cast spells or ranged attacks through it. And basically it's like you're in almost, it's not a pocket dimension, but you may as well be in a little pocket dimension that's just big enough for you, and no one can attack you through it. And their plan is to sit in the inn in the Leoman's Tiny Hut until it all blows over. And so people were talking about, so he was saying, how can I attack the inn? What should I do? You know, he was talking about in-character ways to kind of get the players motivated. And I said, like, those are all great. Some people had some really good ideas, but if it's me, my players and I are going to need to have a conversation at this point. When a town's being attacked by zombies, I do not expect the party to go hide in the inn in Leoman's Tiny Hut and let all of the innocent people in the town die. Let the town guard take care of it. We're not going to do it. If that's your attitude, why are you playing D&D? Again, if I'm running the town guard and the zombies, and I'm having the town guard fight the zombies, then I'm basically soloing D&D. Why am I playing with you? So, I don't know what he's going to do about it, but I absolutely would have a conversation with my players at this point and say, look, guys, I didn't sign up to run a game where you guys aren't the heroes. And so if you want to play a game that's where you're more ambiguous characters and you're not necessarily heroic, that's fine, that's cool. But I'm out as a GM. That's not the campaign I want to GM. Now, fortunately, I don't have to worry about that in my game because my players are pretty heroic. But this GM, I mean, let's face it, he's frustrated. He's come onto this the D&D Beyond forum twice now, at least twice, maybe 3 times, because I feel like there was another time when he was talking about his players saying we're just going to let the town guard do it. This guy has come onto the D&D Beyond forums several times now to say, what do I do? And to express quite a bit of disappointment with his players for not wanting to engage the content and basically hiding in the room like cowards. And twice now they've hidden in the inn like cowards. And I think there was another time earlier on when he said, how do I get them motivated? Because I think the warlock again was like, let's just let the town guard take care of it. And, you know, other GMs are like, well, the town guard takes care of it. They get the XP and the treasure. I'm like, yeah, but that's not a solution. Because what are the players going to sit there and watch while the DM resolves combat between a bunch of NPCs? How is that even any fun? That's boring. You came to the session to play, not to watch me solo the game. I mean, I don't need, I don't understand that. And so, if it's me, I'm going to have a conversation with these players because they're obviously trying to play the game in a way that I'm not trying to DM it, and that's not going to lead to anything good. And I've mentioned this before, sort of like when the Great Supervillain Contest came out and Dennis Maloney, the author, said this is a great opportunity to do supervillain role-playing, and he urged the people reading the module, the GMs reading the module, to go ahead and let the players make up new villains that they can use to be in the Great Supervillain Contest. And I read that and said, I am not effing doing that. I am not on board for running a game of villains. I just don't find that fun as a game master. That doesn't mean it's wrong to do, but for me as a game master, my joy comes from running the evil bad guys and making them as evil as possible, and then watching the heroes find a way to beat them. That's what I like. I don't want to like play the heroes and watch the villains defeat the heroes. That's not any fun for me. So, and again, that's just my taste. Doesn't make it right or wrong for other. It doesn't mean other people have to follow it or agree with it. That's just my own personal taste. But for my preferences, I want the heroes. I want the players to be playing heroes. And if they're not willing to play heroes, they need to not play in my game. If you think about like even East Texas University, Savage Worlds, which is being played by the Wild Cards group on Saving Throw, the characters are all college students, and yet they're heroic. When people get threatened, each one of them has a reason why they're going to go in and fight some evil thing, even though they don't really have. Especially at the beginning, they had no combat training. Now they all have. A couple of them have taken some shooting lessons. A couple of them have tasers, and one of them is taught martial arts to the other one. So now, like, two of them know martial arts, and so they're starting by the end of their freshman year to be a little bit better at fighting. But when like innocent people are in danger, they go for it. They try to save them. They don't hide. They go right for it. That's what you want to see. To me, as a game master, that's what I want to see. That's what I'm playing these games for, is the heroism. And if there's not going to be any heroism, then I'm not going to enjoy DMing as much, or GMing. And so, I mean, it would just be like, it'd be like in Call of Cthulhu, right? When you're exploring the forbidden knowledge that you are looking, like the whole idea of Call of Cthulhu is it's this ironic, I guess, or maybe tragic type of situation where your character's purpose is to find out that which man was not meant to know, and by finding it out and achieving your purpose, you are slowly going insane. And so it's like either you die or you succeed and at the same time go insane. And there's an easy way to avoid going insane. Say, I'm not going to do any of this. I'm not going to do any exploring. I'm not going to do any checking. I'm not going to search any libraries. I'm not going to look for hidden knowledge. But then the question would be, why are you playing Call of Cthulhu? That's the whole point of the game. And I would not be down as a GM for running a Call of Cthulhu game in which the investigator said, we're not going to investigate. And I would put mysteries in front of them and they'd say, well, we're not going to go check that out. Oh, yeah, in Arkham, Massachusetts, this fictional town, there's some weird reports of zombies walking around. Well, let's not go up there, guys, because it might drive us insane. Let's stay here in New York where it's safe. Well, then why are you playing Call of Cthulhu? The whole point of Call of Cthulhu is to go up to Miskatonic University and read the Necronomicon and go insane. That's part of the game. That's why you're playing it, to find out the forbidden knowledge and see if you can avoid going insane while you're supposed to be going insane, and see if you can stay alive while evil, crazy things that are way more powerful than humans are on the loose, maybe attacking you. And the challenge of the game is like, how long can I stay sane and alive? That's supposed to be the fun part. Saying, I'm going to like hide in my room. We're going to stay here in the safe place and not go exploring in the Stygian depths underneath the crypts of the graveyard, because we might go insane if we go down there or be killed. Then you shouldn't, like, why even play Call of Cthulhu? Don't even do it. Because the whole purpose is to go into the Stygian depths and explore the secrets that humans were not meant to know, and maybe go insane as you learn the truth, the crazy, insane, evil truth of whatever's going on in the world, right? I mean, that's supposed to be the fun. If it were me, and I had a group of players who were refusing to engage the game the way it was meant to be engaged, or at least the way I intended it to be engaged, I would have a conversation out of character. I wouldn't try to put in-character consequences into the game, because I'm not sure that works. If the players want to play a play it safe, no risks, we never can go insane version of Call of Cthulhu, right? Having like some Nazis come along, capture them, and dump them into the Stygian depths, so they have to do the research and maybe go insane isn't, I don't think, is a solution, because the players don't want to do it, and they're going to be frustrated and upset that they were forced to go somewhere they didn't want to go and risk going insane when they didn't want to risk it. I think it's actually better to have a conversation with the players and say, look, my vision for this game is you guys are going to be risking your lives and your sanity to investigate this stuff, either because you're curious or because you want to save the world, or whatever your motivation may be, and you need to be willing to do that risk. And if you're not willing to take the risks, then somebody else needs to be the keeper for this Call of Cthulhu game. And it might be such a situation that I might not even be able to play as a player in that game, because if the whole rest of the party isn't going to take risks, then they're not going to want to. They're not going to want me there, because I'm going to be out there taking the risks. Right? I want my character to be heroic. I mean, look at City of Heroes. What we could theoretically do, if we don't want to risk ever being defeated, is just log in every 3 days and autocomplete missions. You could do whole story arcs that way. But what's the point of that? I'm playing this game to play it. I have an account here so I can play the game, not so that I can click complete and gain levels without playing the game. I can not play City of Heroes without logging in, right? And you can not play D&D without coming over my house or logging into my Zoom. You can not play Call of Cthulhu without coming over to my house or logging into my Zoom. You don't need my campaign to not play Call of Cthulhu or D&D. You can do that without me, right? And so I think that it's very important to keep that in mind, and always talk to each other as GMs and players and make sure you all want the same things. I think it's pretty clear that this GM is very good friends with these people, and he likes them a lot, and he doesn't want to probably rock the boat too much, but he's also got a group of players who are trying to play a zero-risk version of D&D, and he's getting frustrated because it's not really any fun for him as a game master to run a game with a bunch of players who don't want to take any risks at all. This same guy was talking about how his players open up every fight with like dual fireballs, and they just wipe every battle because they're just opening up every fight with dual fireballs, and then they won't go anywhere without taking a full rest, so they always have dual fireballs to start the battle. And, you know, the other GMs were saying, look, you've got to mix it up, have wandering monster encounters. We said to him, have the monsters come in waves. The first wave is the weak guys. They do double fireballs. They just took out the level 1s, and then the doors open up and the level 5s come out. And he did do that, and that's a nice in-character way to solve it. But I even then said, you need to have a conversation with your players. Do you guys want to just have easy battles that are trivial, or do you want to have a real challenge? And again, if they're going to say, look, we just want trivial battles that we can win really easily, and we never want to ever go to 0 hit points, ever, for any reason, I would say, find another GM. Because, you know, I haven't sent most of my player characters, only one of them's ever gone to 0 hit points and made death saving throws. But that possibility is there, and I am not going to save them from it. And I don't want a game where everything is super easy. These guys are really chewing over how to attack the Shrine of the Kuo-toa now, because they know there are a lot of them in there. And if they raise the alarm and all these guys come after them, this could be a problem, right? So, you know, that makes it a challenge, and that's the fun part, both for them and for me. Now, some people don't find challenges to be fun, and they just want to walk everything over. That's okay. Doesn't mean you're playing the game wrong, but you're playing it in a way you certainly don't want me as your GM. And I don't know, I feel like this poor game master who's made these posts a few times I'm just very concerned that these players are going to, at some point, walk into the game and find out that this GM is saying, I don't want to GM anymore. Because they're making it not be fun for him. All the cool, fun ideas that he gets, they won't even try to engage because it's too dangerous. And like he said, like they haven't been wiped yet or anything. It's not like they were all, they had a TPK 3 or 4 times and now they're scared. They're like my party. They almost never have to make death saving throws. So what are you so afraid of? So, Yeah, always make sure that you talk to your players and you talk to your GM and everybody's on the same page about just how much risk taking you're willing to do and how much of a challenge everybody wants. Okay, guys, let's talk to Indigo, who says, I'll take all the data you collected, Quintessence last. This is certain to be very interesting. This doesn't quite give us an exact lock on Melvin, but it's more than I hoped for. I'm going to consult with Crimson and see if we can find a way to decipher this. We're finally close to freeing poor Melvin Langley, Quintessence last, and it's all thanks to you. And so this is just telling us about all the different individuals that are involved in this. If you want to read all the details and get into all the details of it, you can check Silver Phoenix's playthrough because we went through the story arc with her. I'm not going to read all of that text at this point since I've done it a couple times before. And this video is getting pretty long. We're now about a beat and a half into level 41. Once this story arc is over, I will do some work by myself and bring you guys back before we get to level 42. But we're going to finish this story arc first, which has a couple more parts to it, I believe. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the Rebirth server.